In a previous video, I reviewed the first half of Stephen King's It, the original made-for-TV movie directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. I also talked about how a remake could improve the film while still capturing the essence of the original. There were some elements that I neglected to go over, which I will review in this video. I'm also going to review the second half of Stephen King's It and speculate even further about what a remake could possibly deliver. I am the Ranting Usher. Let me talk you to your seat. The first half of It features quite a few genuinely frightening scenes. Most of the special effects are practical, which is good. That's one of the reasons this movie holds up as well as it does. There are a couple instances, however, where special effects in particular appear dated and artificial and could be vastly improved with CGI. On the other hand, if cinematographers go too heavy on the CGI in the remake and attempt to occasionally throw in a practical effect, that could also be a problem. The film will be too fake and probably won't be nearly as scary as it has the potential to be. I have other issues with the original. The very beginning of the film takes place during a thunderstorm. We see china cups filling up with water, and so we know that it's raining rather heavily. Yet 2 frames later, the little girl whom we see riding her bike and singing Itsy Bitsy Spider is wearing clothes that are entirely dry. That's a poor editing choice. I neglected to mention Henry Bowers in my initial video. He and his crew are essentially bullies. They have no depth, redeeming qualities, or character arcs whatsoever. I think a little bit of exposition could have been written in to help explain why they, Henry in particular, are the way they are. In the novel, King does talk about Henry's father, Butch Bowers, and we get a sense that his father is even crazier than he is. Perhaps a scene between Butch and Henry in the remake could help to solidify the nature of their characters. Speaking of the novelization, there is a scene in the book where Beverly makes love to all 6 of the Lucky 7 boys in the sewers. I don't remember exactly why she does this, but it would be interesting to see if filmmakers are somehow able to work this scene into the remake. The end of the first half, where Stan is found lying dead in the bathtub, is one of the scenes that scared me the most when I first saw it. It is uncertain whether cutting his wrists and writing "It" on the wall was Stan's idea or whether Pennywise possessed him to do it. Either way, it serves as a great cliffhanger in the original. If they decide to use it as such in the remake, I would be totally fine with it. Now let's move on to part 2, which takes place 30 years later. I enjoy the second half. It comes with its own unique montage of uniquely frightening scenes. And like I said before, the film is well cast. The adults do a great job of looking and acting the way I imagine these kids would when they're grown up. Oh, except for Henry Bowers. His character does not age well. Unfortunately, the adults don't have quite as much energy or enthusiasm as the actors who played their characters as children. Nevertheless, part 2 still has its merits. What I like about the second half is that the throwbacks and references to part 1 are used sparingly. Yet they provide much needed information about some of the characters. Lucky 7 further explains that the entire town of Derry has been affected by the It, and why they must keep what's going on in Derry a secret if they want to survive. The group also goes further into depth about what the It actually is. They talk about what is behind the clown, and how in order to feed, it must possess a physical form. Yet they don't tell us any more than what we need to know. I still feel as though there are several things about the It that we may never know. Where did it come from, for instance? I hope that in the remake, filmmakers are able to maintain an even balance between exposition and mystery. That brings me to my only major criticism of Part 2. I wish the It had remained mysterious even after the second half ended. But no. They pay off the seed they planted in the very beginning in the worst way possible. Yeah, the It is a giant spider. This is what we've been building to the whole time. That's disappointing enough in itself, but look at this thing. Granted, the film is 27 years old, but rarely have I seen a monster more crudely designed or more artificial. This spider could definitely use some animatronics and even some CGI. Not too much. We want it to be real enough so that the actors have something to react to. But even just a few touch-ups with Millennium technology would be a major improvement. I'm going to close out this review by going over a few things that I like about the film overall. In my previous video, I praised Tim Curry as Pennywise the Clown. What makes his performance so memorable is his eclectic range. Curry is both amusing and frightening almost simultaneously. Hopefully, Bill Skarsgård, who has been cast to play Pennywise in the remake, can demonstrate such versatility. The friendship that Lucky Seven shares with one another is so convincing and endearing that sometimes I wonder whether or not the actors had already formed strong friendships even before they started shooting. Whenever I rewatch the original, I always feel as though I am being reunited with old friends from school. That's what I like the most about the original. I sincerely hope that whoever they cast to play these characters in the remake share a similar chemistry. That's what will keep viewers like me invested in the story. Despite a few flaws, it remains one of my favorite Stephen King stories of all time. The remake is highly anticipated. I really hope it does the story justice. For those of you who saw my review of It Part 1, you might have been confused about a photo that appeared while I was talking about the musical score. This is the image I meant to show you. I admire the soundtrack composed by Richard Bellis very much, and I anticipate that we will get to hear minor variations of it in the 2017 remake, if for no other reason than to evoke a sense of nostalgia in older audiences. So how do you feel about Stephen King's It? Does it need a remake, or is it fine just the way it is? Are you excited to see what Bill Skarsgård could possibly deliver to the role of Pennywise? Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I am the Ranting Usher. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It would help the channel out a great deal, and I would really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time.